There is a specific kind of anxiety that hits you when you look at your LinkedIn feed on a Tuesday morning. You're sipping your coffee, maybe getting ready for a QBR, and you see it. Some 20-something growth hacker posting about how they generated 6 figures in revenue last week just by, I don't know, tweeting.
Or a competitor.
Oh, or a competitor who, has an inferior product getting massive traction on TikTok of all places.
It's the modern gold rush fever. It induces a very specific type of FOMO in the C-suite.
Exactly. But then you walk into your actual strategy meeting, you look at your sales team, your pipeline, and the reality is so different. You aren't asking, how do I go viral?
No.
You're asking a much more painful, pragmatic question. Is this social media stuff just noise? Or can I actually squeeze real bankable revenue out of it?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, likes don't pay the payroll.
That is the central tension, vanity metrics versus revenue. And frankly, most leaders are still stuck on the vanity side, wondering why the revenue isn't following.
They see the smoke but can't find the fire. So today, we are going to try and bridge that gap. We're doing a deep dive into a really tactical, no-nonsense guide. It's titled, Turn Social Media into Real Sales Results.
It's from Win Nathan Davis at the Sales Experts.
Right. And look, if you're a sales leader, a hiring manager, or an executive listening to this, I just want you to put your skepticism aside for a bit. This isn't about becoming an influencer.
No, it's about engineering. What I appreciate about the source material is that it doesn't waste time telling you social media is important. We know that.
The train's left the station.
It has. Win Nathan Davis focuses entirely on the engineering problem. How do you build a machine, a social media marketing funnel, that takes a stranger scrolling on their phone and methodically turns them into a signed contract?
That is the mission today. Moving beyond the likes and unpacking the mechanics of, well, real sales success in a digital world.
Right.
So, okay, let's unpack. So we have the platforms everyone knows. LinkedIn, Twitter or X now, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
All of them.
The sales experts highlight that these platforms give us something unprecedented, which is direct access to ideal buyers. So why do traditional sales tactics usually, crash and burn when we try them there?
It comes down to a fundamental shift in territory. In traditional sales, cold calling, email marketing, you are often entering a space where business is expected, or at least tolerated.
Sure, it's a workspace.
It's a workspace. But when Nathan Davis points out something fascinating here, social media is user-controlled territory.
User-controlled. I like that phrasing. It implies a shift in sovereignty.
It changes the power dynamic completely. Think about it. People own their feeds. They curate them. They are the editors-in-chief of their own digital experience.
They decide who stays and who goes.
And who gets blocked. So if you come in with the old mindset of broadcasting, just pushing your message out like it's a billboard or a TV ad, you are acting like an intruder.
You're the guy walking into a private party with a megaphone screaming about a discount on enterprise software.
Precisely. And the user's reaction is immediate and brutal. Block, mute, unfollow. The source material emphasizes that the strategy has to shift from broadcasting to engagement.
It's about respecting their space.
You have to earn the right to be there. You have to be invited to the table.
And that's a hard pivot for a sales team that's used to aggressive outreach. We're used to smile and dial. We're used to pushing through the no.
But here, pushing leads to being invisible.
Right.
Correct. But the text does mention there are some serious upsides if you play by these new rules. It's not just about being liked. The business case is strong.
What are the lists?
Davis lists a few key benefits. First, obviously, brand awareness, keeping you top of mind, so when they are ready to buy, you're the first name they think of. But here's one that often gets overlooked by the C-suite. Higher Google rankings.
Oh, that's interesting. So this actually feeds the SEO beast, too.
It does. Authentic engagement signals relevance. Search engines are getting smarter. They look for signals that a brand is alive and, interacting with humans.
So a strong social strategy actually lifts your organic search footprint. That's a massive value add for marketing right there.
And thirdly, real-time brand intelligence. When you stop broadcasting and start engaging, you start hearing what your customers and your competitors are actually saying.
It's market research disguised as a conversation.
It is. You can spot a competitor's weakness or a new customer pain point in the comments section weeks before it shows up in some formal market report.
Okay, so we've established the landscape. It's their house, not ours. We need to be good guests. So now let's get to the engineering part. The guide talks about building a social media marketing funnel.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of our listeners know what a funnel is. We've all stared at Salesforce dashboards long enough. But how does the sales experts define it in this context?
They strip it down to the bare essentials. Awareness, leading to interest, leading to conversion. But the how is where it gets detailed. It all starts with step 1, building the right audience.
And I'm guessing right audience is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that phrase.
It's the most critical variable. The text says explicitly, at first, social media feels like noise. To cut through that, you don't need more followers. You need the right followers.
You have to define that target market strictly.
Yes.
This is a trap I see so many businesses fall into. They celebrate hitting 10,000 followers. Champagnes are popping. But if those followers are teenagers in a different country, and you're selling B2B consulting software,
then you have 10,000 spectators and 0 prospects. You have 0 sales success. It's pure vanity. The goal is to filter out the noise by attracting people who actually fit your buyer profile.
it's almost like account-based marketing applied to your follower count.
That's a great way to put it.
So quality over quantity. I'd rather have 500 decision makers than 50,000 bots.
100%. Because those 500 can actually sign a contract.
Okay, so once we have the right people looking at us, step 2 is engagement versus posting. We touched on this, but let's get specific. What does this social selling technique actually look like? Because engage is such a vague consulting word.
It is, isn't it? In practice, it means you don't just push offers. You don't just post a link to your product page and say, buy now. The source suggests sparking conversations. How? You share insights, maybe a breakdown of a new regulation in your industry. You ask questions, you highlight customer stories, you treat it like a dialogue.
The old mantra, value first, sales later.
That's it. You have to deposit value into the relationship bank account before you try to make a withdrawal. If you try to withdraw before you deposit, the check bounces.
And on social media, a bounce check means an unfollow.
Exactly.
I love that analogy. But here is where I think a lot of social selling strategies fall apart, and I want to push on this. We get stuck in the friend zone.
The friend zone of sales.
Right. We're having great chats, getting lots of likes, sharing memes. Everyone thinks we're hilarious. But no one is buying. The pipeline is empty.
It's a dangerous place. You're popular, but you're broke.
So how do we get out of there?
This brings us to what I think is the most critical tactical point in the entire document. Step 3, the directional nudge.
The directional nudge. Tell me more.
The sales experts point out a critical error many people make, the dead-end post. You write something brilliant, everyone loves it, they click like, and then they keep scrolling.
You gave them a dopamine hit, but you didn't give them a path.
You gave them a snack, but you didn't invite them to dinner. Precisely. The rule from the source is every post must guide followers somewhere. It has to be part of the funnel.
So it needs to invite them to read an article or download a resource.
Or sign up for a webinar or book a call. Yes.
So every piece of content needs a job description.
Yes. It must move the user from awareness to action. If it doesn't have a next step, it's not a funnel, it's just entertainment.
And unless you're getting paid by Netflix, entertainment isn't your business model.
Exactly right.
That's a great takeaway for the sales leaders listening. Audit your company's feed. Look at the last 10 posts. Did they lead anywhere, or were they just dead ends?
And that leads nicely into the advanced tactics section of the guide. Because if you are going to guide them somewhere, what are you guiding them to?
You can't just guide them to a contact us form every time.
No, that's too aggressive. You need bait.
The source calls this irresistible content.
Right. And irresistible implies a real exchange of value. It means content that solves a specific problem so well that the user is willing to trade their attention or their email address for it.
So we're talking guides, white papers, calculators.
Case studies, webinars, things like that, things that build trust and demonstrate your competence.
You're proving you can solve their problem before they pay you a dime.
Exactly. The text says the purpose is to build trust so the prospect is ready when you make an offer.
Now I want to pivot to something that will ring a bell for every sales VP listening. Managing the pipeline. Because social media leads can be, well, they're messy.
Very messy. It's unstructured data. A comment here, a DM there.
Right. How do we organize this chaos?
This is where the expertise of Nathan Davis really shows. He warns against treating all social media contacts the same. You have to segment them.
Just like a traditional sales pipeline.
Just like a pipeline, you can't treat like the same as a download.
So who are the players in this model?
The source identifies 3 distinct groups. First, you have the curious browsers. They're just looking, maybe learning. They're lurking.
Okay.
Then you have warm leads people who have engaged, maybe downloaded that white paper we talked about. And finally, the ready-to-buy decision makers.
And the mistake is treating a browser like a decision maker.
Or vice versa. If you try to close a curious browser on the first interaction, slide into their DMs with a pricing sheet, you scare them off.
They're the intruder again.
You are, but if you treat a decision maker like a browser and just keep sending them fluffy content without asking for the sale, you lose the deal to a competitor who did ask.
So we need to track them separately, nurture them differently. That is actionable insight for any RevOps team. You need to be tagging these people based on their behavior.
Absolutely. Social listening isn't just about reading comments, it's about scoring intent.
So let's say we've done all the work. We identified the audience, we attracted them with value, we guided them, we nurtured them. They're at the decision-maker stage. How do we finally get the sale?
Conversion. And what's fascinating is that for all the new technology, the source says conversion relies on the absolute basics.
The fundamentals.
The fundamentals. Clear calls to action and compelling proof.
So tell them what to do and show them why it's safe to do it.
That's it. Testimonials, results, case studies.
It's comforting in a way. The tools change, the platforms change, but the psychology of I need proof before I buy hasn't changed at all.
Not a bit. Trust is still the currency.
Okay, I want to make sure this sticks for everyone listening. The source material lays out a 7-step social media sales strategy. Let's run through these rapid fire. I'll tee them up, you knock them down.
Let's do it.
Step 1.
Identify your target audience. Don't boil the ocean. Find your specific pool and just ignore the rest.
Step 2.
Attract and grow that audience. Pull them in with gravity and value. Don't shout at them.
Step 3.
Engage with relevant content. Be a human. Spark a conversation, not a monologue.
Step 4.
Tempt with irresistible offers. Give them that webinar, that guide, that high-value asset that earns you the right to their inbox.
Step 5.
Maintain consistent engagement. You can't ghost your audience and expect them to remember you. Consistency builds trust.
Love that. Step 6.
Nurture leads through the funnel. Move them methodically from browser to warm lead to decision maker.
And finally, step 7.
Close sales and measure results. If you aren't measuring the ROI, you aren't managing a business, you're just playing on the internet.
Boom. There it is. A complete system. It's not magic, it's engineering.
And that's the so what for me. If you are a sales leader, you need to stop looking at social media as this vague marketing activity that happens over in the corner.
Right.
If you treat it with discipline, if you build the funnel, it is a legitimate revenue stream.
It's a machine you can actually tune.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out of going viral and replaces it with a process for getting customers.
I think the biggest relief for me reading this was the realization that we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to apply the wheel to a new road.
That's perfectly put. And that aligns with the golden rule from the text that I think sums this whole deep dive up.
What's that?
When Nathan Davis writes, "At the end of the day, selling is still selling, only the tools have changed."
Selling is still selling. That's something to put on a Post-it note on your monitor.
It anchors you. It reminds you that the principles of trust, value, and clear communication are still the currency of the realm.
So for the leaders listening who are ready to stop guessing and start building this strategy, maybe you want to see that full funnel diagram or get more of those specific content ideas, you should head over to thesalesexperts.com.
There's a ton more there on driving real sales success. Highly recommended. It's a great resource for getting granular.
Okay, before we sign off, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. We talked about user control territory.
Yes, their digital living room.
It's a powerful concept.
It is. And here is the question I would want every executive to ask themselves honestly. If your social media followers really do own their feeds, if that is their digital living room, are you a welcome guest providing value? Or are you an intruder broadcasting noise?
Oof.
Because the answer to that question isn't just about likes, it determines your revenue.
That cuts deep. Are you the guest or the intruder?
The market will tell you the answer pretty quickly.
It certainly will. That's all for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, and go build that funnel.
See you next time.